welcome to round 10 of the Swemp Electronics Football Alliance Division 1. You can see the results on your screen from last time. 5 teams didn't score any goals. 1 team scored 5 goals. And we had a big win as well for Hools. And the end match of the amazing show with George from Rainbow, Kermit the Frog, Dillis, Tato, Steve Wright, and a whole host of other impressions. Badgers 4, Iron Curtain 3, leaving our league table as this, starting from the bottom, with Flamingos on no points at all, and Imaginary Madrid picked up a point to move up to 2. They still need 2 wins to catch up with anybody else, and the Wacky Racers slipped into the relegation zone last time with a big defeat. Huge win for Fortuna, moved them up 2 places into 10th at the expense of Ewan and Racers. Wanderers of Wolverhampton were the team that took that defeat and slipped down the table and are now in a bit of trouble to make it back into the top half. But look at those top 4. Trafford leading the way by 2 points after their win over Flamingos. Phoenix, Hools, East Coast. One of those teams is playing Flamingos today. And let's have a look at those fixtures as we welcome our co-commentator for today, our regular midweek commentator, Quinton Fortuna. Hello, Quinton.
Hello, Mr. Megahorse.
Ready for the action today? Your team up against Imaginary Madrid.
Yeah, we had a good result last time out, but Imaginary Madrid also had a good result away to East Coast with a 1-1 draw. So I'm hoping that the boys will play as well as they did last time, but it'll be a real tough game despite their league positioning.
Yes, yeah, they're a team that look like they're on the up a little bit, but obviously with David Day in goal, as long as he doesn't give you the 3 out of 10 performance, you've got somebody very solid there, haven't you?
Oh, I hope so. Yeah, it's been pretty good this season, save for that one exception. So let's hope he's on this game tonight.
We might as well get started. Obviously, your team won't play first if it comes up. And we also have the Champions Cup final between Arsenal and Roma, which we will be dissecting in depth for a 2-hour show straight after this one. It's the Wacky Racers away to the Wanderers of Wolverhampton. And Wacky Racers, obviously last time out, took that 4-0 defeat to Hools, who, they dominated, didn't they?
Yeah, they did. But Hools are a good team, and Raul's been on good form this season. So Racers didn't look to be at their game. They're missing Hull Cookie Coleman in that team at the minute. So 4-0 defeat. There's no disgrace losing by that to Hools. They're an excellent lineup.
And of course, the loss of Ryan Giggs, who Dillis Price was not too happy about. Team for today, no Giggs. Darren Barnard steps in, and onto the bench in his place comes Chris Coleman, as you mentioned.
Well, it's pretty much like for like, isn't it? One world-class star in for another there, with Barnard coming in for Giggs. Good to see Coleman make it back onto the bench, but Partridge, Melville, Delaney, they'll have the work cut out today because the Wanderers will be looking to avenge that result we had against them in the last game.
They will indeed. Let's take a look at how they've set up for today. Minimal changes. I think it's just 2 following that big defeat. At least Pellizzoli recovered from the, was it a 3 he was on at half time?
Yeah,
60 minutes?
I think it was the other way around, wasn't it? When you're playing really well, and I can't remember. Either way, I mean, he didn't have much of a look in, did he? But they're a good team, and that result is no reflection of their performances so far this season. I think we'll see a good response from them tonight.
Yeah, they've always been in every game. I mean, obviously they've taken that bit more of a defeat to Trafford, but a 5-0 win over Imaginary Madrid. That's something that can be looked at as a very positive result based on Madrid's recent matches.
Yeah, I say that they're decent. They've got goals in them. They've got the league's top scorer, haven't they? Yavin as well up front, who's hit double figures, I think, already. Strong midfield with Keane and Walker in there, and the wings as well with Robin and Huckabee. They'll create plenty of chances.
Yes, I believe it's Walker that's been recalled in the middle of midfield, and Hierro at the back has come in as well for Richards.
Yeah, they've been holding out for a Hierro, haven't they, in this team, particularly after that last performance in defence. But no, I think it's just a one-off. I'd expect to see these challenging for that top half position.
I must report the third change, of course. Petr Cech has been brought in for Pellizzoli as a result of the result last time. Well, Fortesh passed the fitness test again, and he is this time on the bench, so we may see him in the second half of the game. Håkon Bondal. Oh yes, he was a talk of the town last time out. Let's see how he manages this game. And racers back in their green and red kit, which yes, not the best for the colourblind, I imagine. Oh, and not the best for me to be able to read. I think so far Scott Huckabee's taken a really early yellow card. Collins has had a chance, and we're looking John Hartson looking to get involved. He's had a good opportunity there, but he's wasted it. Probably yet again is a good word to use for his season so far. Walker with an attempt, and Collins as well. Then we've got Sirachka getting involved as well. There's a lot of players trying to get some opportunities, and Yavin breaks the deadlock 20 minutes into this match. Whew, breathless.
That's his customary goal, isn't it?
It certainly is. And Collins has had a smash as well. And Robin makes it 2-0. They're trying to get some clear, just trying to make sure that the last game becomes a distant memory. They are 2-1 up, though, as John Hartson scores. Is that his first goal of the season?
I think so. Seemed to be had another chance there, didn't he, as well? So
He certainly did, but it's a penalty, and Iron Robin makes it 3 before half-time. Will there be anything else? No, 3-1. So just to have a check there, the penalty on 45 minutes. Let's have a look at those goals and how they went in. So Huckabee tripped over Barnard. You did say he was going to be a big international threat. There he is early on, and Robin has played it in. Delaney just couldn't stop it really, and Yavin firing in that loose ball. Second goal, Huckabee with a cross and Robin with the finish. And then Hartson pulls one back with a Barnard corner. There he is again. And it was Paul Jones tripping over Yavin after only being able to parry the ball. It seemed like a bit of a catastrophe for Jones there. And Robin pops in the penalty there. So a check on ratings first. I think we'll have a little look at the ratings.
Yeah, so I think Wolves deserve to be in front. 3-1's. I mean, it just reflects what an excellent first half we've had. It was straight from the off, as you said. It was breathless, wasn't it? There's plenty of attacking from both teams. You can see by the ratings there, Sidatska in particular is playing well. Yavin and Robin also. But it's I suppose the overall performances, you can see Savage and Kumas not doing so well for the races. So I think it does reflect the dominance, and we can see that in the stats.
Certainly can, yeah. 70% of shots on target for the Wanderers, only 25 for the Racers, which I suppose Racers will be happy that their only shot on target's gone in, and that might be something that displeases Andrew Richards. His goalkeeper's yet again a little bit frail.
Yeah, I mean, it could have been an excellent finish by John Hartson, couldn't it? So it might have given him absolutely no chance at all. I don't think the Czech's rating showed he disgraced himself at all. So it could just be good finishing from the opposition. But Racers aren't out of it yet. There's only a couple of goals in it. So if they get the next goal, who knows what could happen?
Well, we see that Robin has he might have scored 2 goals, but he's only made 4 passes.
Yeah, well, that's it. It just shows sometimes in this game, it's not how much you have the ball, it's what you do with it, isn't it? So it's been crucial because one of those passes was an assist as well. So 2 goals and an assist from 4 passes. Just shows what a productive first half he's had. You have him with a goal and assist too. So good performance.
Yeah, just try to work out really the reason behind the 9, other than the 3 key passes. I wouldn't say anything else. A key tackle, a key header, 3 key passes. Not a lot else, and he's managed to get himself a 9. So well played to him. Our half-time man of the match, really. For the Racers, yeah, I think the sort of Melville aside, they're lacking anyone who's putting their foot on the other players and on the other players, putting their foot in to try and stop the other players.
Yeah, that's it. I mean, you can see Katia Partridge, Savage, Kumas, Hartson, Bellamy, Barnard. None of them won a tackle in the first half, which is pretty poor going if you're going to try and win the games, isn't it?
Certainly is.
Just need to show a bit more going forward. I think, as I say, if they do get a goal before the round of substitutions, if they're only at the 60-minute mark, it could make for an interesting last half an hour. But yeah, Wanderers deserve the lead so far.
Barring any injuries, there's only actually 1 substitute planned from either team. So we'll head into the second half. And we see straight away that John Hartson has grabbed a second goal, and he's making a thrilling opportunity now for the rest of the game. Kumas has had a chance as well. And Walker makes it 4, but it's disallowed. And then straight down the other end of the pitch, almost an equaliser. And so we will see, well, it has been offered as a substitute, and it will be Yavin withdrawn. That the one substitute sees Antonio Fortes coming on up front for the last half hour. He's been used as a striker each time, and if winning, 60 minutes, Fortes to come on. Probably a little bit edgy now at 3-2 with a 64-year-old up front, but we'll see how it gets on.
Might be fresh legs, but the 64 years old.
Yeah, it's probably the least fresh. I mean, you can imagine him having the least stamina by the end of the game. Maybe Barnard would be, but Walker's had another chance to make it 4 yet again. And we go into these last 10 minutes. It's calmed down. Fortes has reduced it to walking football maybe. And into the last 2 or 3 minutes of normal time, could there be another goal? There's chances at both ends, and they're holding off the pressure. And a 3-2 win is exactly what they needed for today.
Yeah, good first half from Wanderers. They weren't really in it the second half, although they've got some players still on decent ratings. That early second half goal from John Hartson just shows he's really kicked off his season. So if he starts doing the business over the next few games, then Racers might start to pick up a few more points. But yeah, I think on reflection, Wanderers do deserve the victory. Racers didn't really show too much in that last half an hour.
Yes, 4 shots off target for Wanderers in the second half, and 3 out of 5 for Racers on target. So, they certainly turned it around a bit in the second half, but it just wasn't quite enough, was it?
No, that's it. But good news is Peter Cech's got a 50% save rate now with two goals conceded from the 4 shots on target. So at least he's improved that.
Yeah, going into that goal early in the second half, it's Cech has palmed it away, and Hartson's got on the end of a rebound there. So then Walker scored with a low one off a loose ball. Again, Paul Jones at fault, really. But luckily that one was disallowed for him. The Wanderers stats, Fortes, he managed to be the fittest player on the pitch, but you would kind of expect that for half an hour.
Yeah, you'd hope so, wouldn't you? Particularly at the pace the game was at. It wasn't exactly frenetic that last part, but yeah, as you're highlighting there, Roy Keane only 1 tackle, 1 out of 7, and that's probably why the Racers came back into it in the second half.
Yeah, he certainly wasn't his usual self. I mean, did he create some fouls? I think he made no fouls. So Roy Keane, sort of much more a peripheral figure during the game. 2 key passes. He was more on the creative side for his team. Partridge, 5 key tackles from the 5 that he won.
Yeah, good second half performance from him. He didn't really do too much in the first half, but Barnard was fairly decent. It was his shot that got pounded out for Hartson to score that second one. But yeah, John Hartson's the starman off that team. Craig Bellamy with a 70. If he starts to show a bit more as well, they could be quite potent, those two, in the latter part of the season.
Yeah, it just seemed like he was jumping around with no real opportunity of winning the ball. I mean, I don't know who he was up against at that point for those headers. Possibly Mike Duff was beating him to him. We'll head into the next match. 3-2 to the Wanderers. That will do their season the world of good. But for Racers, still in the relegation zone at the end of this round. We'll play your game second then. So up against Imaginary Madrid. Last match, of course, we've seen the 5-0. David Collins with the hat trick. It was all over by half time, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was, and it was quite surprising, really. I wouldn't expect a repeat at all today. I know they're not doing the best in the league, but they've got a strong squad. So I think the position of 13th is not a reflection of their performances, really. I mean, we've scored 10 in 2 games, 5 in the last and 5 in the first, and other than that, we've not really scored too many. So I've recalled Nicky Ferenko after his ill discipline a couple of games ago, and he's gone up front this game just to see if we can have a little bit different, and kept Kenny Lunn in centre of midfield because he's got 4 assists from his six starts so far.
Yeah, it's certainly a decent performance from Lunt, isn't it? Yeah, Nicky Franco up front, I think will offer something a bit different to Estevez, won't he?
Yeah, Estevez had a good first game, but he's not really scored or done an awful lot since. Nicky Franco's been playing in centre mid in a couple of games, attacking midfield in the others. So just thought I'd give him a try up front. We're recalling him, and hopefully he can't kick anyone in today's performance.
Well, there is that. Yeah, back from the ban, back from the dead for the team. No, yeah. Obviously, a good thing about your team is that they, apart from that one game, have never conceded more than two. For Imaginary Madrid, looking at their last game, they managed to hold the East Coast to a draw, as you mentioned earlier.
Yeah, and a good performance from them as well. It's East Coast are a really good team. They've played well so far this season, so that's an excellent result and might give them a bit of confidence going forward. Good individual performances from the Cole brothers.
Not the Chuckall brothers. We'll have a look at the team unchanged from last time. Still no opportunity for Mendieta to come back into the side, as he's still injured.
Yeah, I mean I suppose that's good news as an opposition manager, isn't he? Mendieta's got a little bit more ability than perhaps a couple of those in the lineup, but you won't have to change too much after getting that excellent result away to East Coast. So yeah, I think it's fair that it's probably as it is, and Yordis the danger man who's been playing well so far for him.
Yeah, Yordi's been a bit of a surprise this season. I know his average rating is not, especially amazing, but he's been in and around there. And I think is it 2 headers he scored this season? I think.
Yes, yeah, I think that's right.
So we'll have a look. I'm not going to ask you to make any predictions on your own match. A good clean game with lots of action. There we go. Björn Hansen refereeing, and let's see who can have the first opportunity in this game. Will it be anybody? The players are daydreaming. Yavin it was who had that first chance, and he's put it off target. And then down the other end, a chance for Joe Cole with a good save from David Day. Straight away, he shows the form that he's been keeping up mostly recently. But then Saeed takes down Calvo Garcia, the danger man, obviously. And then a chance, and David Collins continues the great run of form he's got, and it's 1-0 to Fortuna.
Looked like a Kenny Lunt assist, I think.
Yet again, that would be a spectacular start to his career at your team in this 10th match. He's not played 10 games, of course. Down the other end, Calvo Garcia has a chance, and David Day getting his customary, what seems like a very very normal 8 at the moment for him at half time. 1-0. Obviously, Collins and Day standing out. But Ivan Campo and Colaccini show that the defence have been certainly worked on the opposition.
Yeah, I think it looks like we've just edged it from the commentary, but it's not been comfortable. Yeah, as you say, they've got a couple of good players in defence there, and I suppose the thing we've got to watch in the second half of these bookings. But you can see from the actual things there, they've had more shots on target than we have. So although I thought we'd maybe edged it, it looks like they're doing the business according to the stats.
Yeah, a little bit more possession, but not necessarily in dangerous areas for you. But obviously, what it is that's key is that one goal. And the goal was scored with a Lunt free kick. Yep, and Collins getting above Colaccini. So, yep, Kenny Lunt with another assist. That's 5, isn't it, this season?
5, yeah, I think so. I mean, I should caveat that I think 3 of them were against the non-league
Against
opposition in the cup.
Sandefjord, yeah. But
But that's 2 in his last 2 games now, so it could be worse.
hey, absolutely. Colaccini looking very, very lively there for Imaginary Rigid and standing out.
Yeah, he's very good in the hair, Colaccini. So he's won 4 of his 6 headers, and
And
3 out of
Campo
the 4
showing similar
tackles.
form.
Campo, yeah, absolutely. So they've done really well back there. I suppose it just shows from Campo's passing stats, and he's only made 1 pass, so he's either on the floor making tackles or jumping and winning headers. So if they have a bit more of the ball, they could cause problems the second half. So we'll have to keep it tight at the back and hopefully try and nick another goal.
Well, it would be a good tactic, wouldn't it? Yordi kept very, very quiet so far. For your team, looking at it, Ibrahim Saeed has been very, very busy. Yellow card, but also plenty of tackles and headers.
Yeah, he's been doing all right, hasn't he? I suppose it's that yellow card we'll have to watch really. But there's potentially knocks to Nikiforenko and Collins, which could be a bit of a worry. So I might look to withdraw Nikiforenko and give Dunwell a run out, I think.
So on comes Michael Dunwell. Collins, is there any opportunity for him, or are you keeping him on for a bit longer?
I'm going to leave him until 60 because I'm a little bit concerned about that side yellow card as well.
Well, there you go. No plans for Madrid substitutes, and the second half kicks off, and it's more of the same of Madrid coming forward, but saved again. Calvo Garcia putting one wide, and Kesman again. He meets a bit of an onslaught against Fortuna at the moment, and they're doing well to hold on because this Madrid attacks have been coming and coming and coming. And there's another one going forward, but a substitute will be made now. And to take a look at your team, Collins on the 8, 6s and 7s, Day on a 9.
Yeah, it's been an impressive start to the second half from Imagining Madrid, so we're going to have to change things up a little bit and try and get back into it. I think probably time is now to remove Collins so he doesn't get too worn out. I'll bring on Carlos Jacques to replace him.
There we are.
Other than that, I don't normally like making that third sub. I think I'm just going to have to risk Said and see how he gets on. Hopefully, he can keep his discipline.
Hopefully, if you had made the sub, hopefully the goalkeeper wouldn't just go off 2 minutes later. So, again, no plans for Madrid substitutes, and we shall see how the rest of this game goes. I am just checking; it's definitely no substitutes for Imagining Madrid. I haven't just imagined it.
Ivan Campos playing really well in defence. Now he's up to a 9, Cole's up to an 8, and Kesman too. So, to show what a good start to the second half they've had.
Yes, they are certainly. If we just take a look at those stats, yep, they are now starting to get away. No chances for your team at this point. And then the attacks just continue. And how they're holding out is slightly beyond me. Another chance there for Yordi this time. And we're having a bit of a lull. The teams have, it's been attack versus defence for quite a while. And they go again with another chance. Kesman it was who had it. And then back down the other end, and Lunt can control the ball, being challenged, and the attack has gone. One last chance maybe for either team. Nothing, and a solid 1-0 win. Despite Marvin Andrews not having necessarily the best game, look at that Kesman man of the match. It's not often that if a team doesn't score, that the losing team striker ends up man of the match.
No, I'm delighted with the victory, but I think I've absolutely robbed Imaginary Madrid there. They seem to have battered us, and Andrews with his 5, it just shows he was absolutely dominated by Kesman up front there.
Well, yes, you had one shot off target in the second half compared to the 5 shots and 4 of them on target for Imagine Madrid. So, yeah, defensively, Matt Andrews aside, pretty solid. Madrid, it shows that they are still keeping themselves in every single match.
Yeah, I think their position in the league is false really for the quality they've got in the squad, and
Yeah.
they just need to find a formation that's going to work for them and a lineup that's working. I mean, I said that they absolutely battered me there, and if my keeper was in different form, then they'd have got a goal or two. But luckily, I've had another great performance from David Day in goal to keep it to a clean sheet.
And we did see the goal, didn't we, from before? So taking a look at the overall stats for the team. Yeah, Campo 5 key tackles, 2 key headers. He certainly challenged. The 9 didn't last for in the defence, but certainly they do have a good defence.
Yeah. I mean, we didn't really challenge them too much, to be honest, particularly in that second half. But yeah, coming forward as well, you can see they've had 7 shots on target, 4 of them from Kesman. He seems to have been very active on the passing and shooting stakes. So it's no surprise he's come away with the man of the match really, although they have lost 1-0, and everyone's had a fairly decent performance other than Smertin, who's picked up a booking and got a 6.
And plenty of passes for Ivan Campo in that second half. In the end, for his lacking of it in the first half. Am I right in thinking is this a fourth or a fifth clean sheet now for Fortuna?
We've had a few. I think we're in positive goal difference. I think we've scored 13 and conceded 10 in the 9 games. So we don't have too many goals. It's not a thriller. But luckily we've come away with a 1-0 today, and it would have been nicer to have kept Nicky Franco and Collins on the pitch for the full 90 minutes. It might have given us a bit more threat up front, but so Marvin Andrews, it did look like he'd maybe picked up a knock during the round of substitution, so he's probably injured looking at that 76%, unless he's just worn out from chasing Imagine Madrid around the pitch who were running in circles around it. But luckily Marvin's got good faith in God, so he'll heal that knee injury without the need for surgery.
Yes, absolutely. I have heard the wonderful tales of Marvin Andrews. Yes, quite the character, isn't he? Again, David Day, another 8, so that 3 aside, he's heading towards an 8 average rating. It's looking very, very solid for him. 2 man of the matches, and again, probably the best player on your team.
Yeah, 10 conceded in 10. Can't go too far wrong with that. So he's definitely showed up. Although he missed that one game with the 3, he's been the man of the season by a mile. But so Madrid were the better team in that game. So we're lucky to come away with a win thanks to Day in goal. But I think Madrid will be fine in the end. I think they'll get a few wins together and start gaining a few places.
Well, I'll take a little bit of feedback from you at the end. 10 games in, if Madrid are going to be fine, who's not going to be fine? Flamingos aside. Into match number 3, and it's the Iron Curtain CCCP up against Hull's Vikings, and this is a game I have been looking forward to. Two of my favourite concept squads around. Looking into this Hull's last match, a very, very strong victory over the Racers.
Yeah, we had a look at that early, didn't we? With Raul's been in great form, hasn't he? And 2 goals and a 10. You can't ask for much more than that. But pretty much everyone on the pitch for them was getting some good rating. It just showed how dominant they were.
A win for Hulls will take them temporarily top of the league. Do you see it coming?
It's a tough one, isn't it? They've had 3 successive wins now since a strong team held them to a 0-0. But against the Iron Curtain, it's going to be a real tough one because again, the Iron Curtain they seem to have a much stronger squad than the league position suggests. So once they crack the right formula, then they can beat anyone on the day. I'm going to go against the form book, and I'm going to say Iron Curtain might get a victory here today.
From looking at the team there, I mean there are a few injury issues. Obviously, Dida's out at the moment. We've got Hierro suspended, Sergio, Figo. It's it's not far off being Jens's his main team, but he is missing some players he could really do with.
I think Rogerio's a strong keeper. I'd probably have him in over Dida anyway, particularly for set pieces and what have you. He's only conceded the 1 so far in his 3 starts and the sub appearance. But the rest of the team's really good. I just think because they had a 4-0 victory in the last game and everyone played really well, then I just think that the potential for an off day, isn't there, today? And he's missed a penalty as well.
Yes, it didn't take you long to get a penalty. I believe you was it about 14 games or something it took for Rogerio to get a penalty in one of your games. Is that right?
I think it was more than that. I think it was 20 games before he had one, but he ended up scoring 14.
Oh, that
season.
was it. Yeah,
So
that was it.
Yeah, it's quite prolific, so I wouldn't put it past him to get one today. It's a late consolation in a 2-1 Iron Curtain victory.
Well, let's open those curtains now and have a look at who they've picked for today. The formation is not quite the same as last game. They switched back to their 4-1-3-2 for the very, very close, the thrilling match against the Badgers, but they've changed it for today.
Yeah, it was a great performance, great game, wasn't it, that one? And Badgers put in a slightly better performance to win it, but it was a thrilling curtain that fell on the last performance of the last show. But yeah, I think they've got a real strong squad. I like what they've done with this one. It's just a matter of finding something that works for them. So that changing system, is it going to reap its dividends? Nicky Franco's back in centre mid for this team, and I find he does play really well there quite a lot of occasions. So that might just strengthen the midfield and provide a goal threat as well. And Mostovoy's been chief assister, hasn't he, so far in the league? So if he provides chances for them top two, then they could get some goals.
Yep, 9 contributions in 9 games. Just doesn't seem to last the full 90 minutes, does he, at the moment?
No, he's a bit older though, isn't he? But he can do all his business in the first part of the game. So why have a whole 90 minutes?
Why have the whole 90 minutes? Oyvind de Lapness refereeing this game. Hopefully he won't have any lapnesses of concentration as we go into this game, taking us towards a halfway point of today's fixtures. We have got an opportunity there and it's hit the bar and gone over. Was that Shevchenko with a chance?
Yeah, it was. Yeah, it's unlucky early on.
And straight down the other end, Hull's have had chances. And I can't see which team's going to take the lead, to be honest, at the moment. It seems to be end to end and anything could happen. The goalkeeper's staying firm, but there we go. Elbear 1-0 to Hulls. Not the consolation in a 2-1. And down the other end has been a bit of an opportunity again, but still it's Rogerio holding very, very firm in the Hulls goal. Another chance for Elbear. And as we mentioned last time around, the Russian Nigel Martin involved for CCCP making another save. It's red card for Cafu. Now, Cafu has been sent off. He was injured for another team the other day, I think. So he's not having the best of run at the moment. A red card for Cafu. We'll have a look at halftime as to what's happened there.
Yeah, launched into a dangerous 2-footed tackle, I think.
Yeah, and obviously having to play 2 players out wide does require a change of system here. And let's just see if there's any injuries first of all, to see if it's worth substituting any specific players. Ronaldinho, no. And Paredes, well, he's required in defensive mid, isn't he? Do you see it's been like a withdrawing Raul and putting on the right back?
I don't know about withdrawing Raul because he provides a threat up top, doesn't he? I mean, you could either just drop Paredes into right back and miss a defensive midfielder, or move a midfielder slightly wide right, or sacrifice one of the midfielders. It's I mean, Emerson's only started with a 6, isn't he? So I mean, as Wers performing, I don't know who he was for fitness wise, but he could be sacrificed for a right back maybe. Or if you want to take a striker off, that's I suppose you've got the instructions.
Well, the instructions are to manage. If I have a look at, thinking about who plays in the first team usually, I mean, Paredes is in for Sergio, so he's vital in that position, especially being a man down. Ronaldinho and Emerson start. I think that it would be Alex withdrawn if it isn't going to be a striker. So if Alex was to be withdrawn, looking at who can play right back, though, there isn't a right back on the bench.
There's not. Junior's a left back, isn't he? Or Mourinho's a centre back who's right footed, I think.
He can cross, he can play, he has scored in his only game. Gerrard is not a defensive player. Junior, he is either footed, he's a full back, but I don't think he's got the right stats. Yeah, I think it probably is better to do to bring on Mourinho into that position, as you would say, to withdraw Alex, bring him back, and have the 2 centre mids.
Yeah, I think it keeps the goal threat, doesn't it, for the 2 up front start, and particularly Raul being in good form as well. It's probably the sensible decision.
Yes, yeah, and obviously we'll look at the substitutes a bit later on. It might be a case of dropping Raul that little bit further back and leaving Elbear as a lone striker, but Raul as an attacking mid possibly as an opportunity a bit later on. Keep the team going. And, well, Hulls are not giving up with their attacks, are they? Despite being 1 man down, they're dominating since, and Elbear's had another chance. Some good saves, some good defending happening. That's anything before half-time? No. Rogerio on a 9 at the interval, showing the power of the 2 goalkeepers.
Yeah, both been playing well, haven't they? And I mean, Sigalko's on an 8 for the Iron Curtain, so it shows Rogerio's been busy. I mean, Hull's are edging it. Cafu was on an 8 until he launched himself into that tackle. Paredes and Albert doing well too. But yeah, I think Rogerio's definitely been the better of the two keepers with that 9. So has he been the busier?
Has he been the busier? Well, it's been very, very close. Hull's every shot on target, and Iron Curtain 5 out of 7. The players are doing a good job to keep goalkeepers busy.
Yeah, good first half from both teams. I think anything could happen in the second half now. A lack of discipline from Cafu's even things up, but Hulls weren't really dominating to some effect. So they probably deserve to be in front on the fact they've had 100% of the shots on target, and they've still kept going even after the red card.
They're absolutely reliant on Cafu there for the goal. I know he might not have got an assist because he's actually missed his pass to Ronaldinho, so it is worth checking that. And Nelbert's got it instead and popped it in. Let's take a look at the red card incident. 41 minutes in, a dangerous, poorly timed two-footed challenge on Sigalko. Makes you wonder if he's been targeting Sigalko during the game for that. Sigalko is okay from that. Iron Curtain, no real injury issues as such, I wouldn't say at this point, so they'll go continue as they are. Milevski, again, throwing in lots and lots of tackles, as you'd expect from him.
Yeah, that's it. He's good in his defensive contributions. He rarely lets the team down. There's possibility Tetrads has picked up a slight knock, isn't there? So he'll have to be watching the second half. But he'd been playing really well in the first half. I think he was on an 8 at one point. And they've been doing well coming forward. So if Mostovoy starts to create a few more chances, I'm sure Maxim or Andrew Shevchenko will take one away.
Yeah, with those strikers, you've always got chances, haven't you? Hulls, yeah, I mean, Cafu had been playing very, very well, and now he's put his team in a bit of trouble. There won't be any substitutes at this point for Hulls. Elbert, 4 out of 4 shots on target. I mean, obviously, every shot's been on target so far. Cafu was credited with the assist, despite the fact that it actually was a mistake that he passed to Elbert in the end.
Yeah, well, unless it was on target for Ronaldinho and Albert jumped in there in front. But yeah, I suppose his big mistake is launching into a two-footed tackle on Maxim, isn't it? So hopefully it won't cost his team. But yeah, he played well up to that point.
And will they play well in the second half without him? Straight away, the Iron Curtain on the attack, and a dubious decision was given straight after that. Shevchenko with another chance. They've come out fighting, but Hulls have come out trying to stop them with their own form of attacking. So yet again, the game continues in great style. And another chance for Ronaldinho as we go into the substitutes. It's not bad for the losing team to have everyone 7 and above.
No, that's it. And again, we've improved some performance in the second half. So Nigma Tullin's on a 9 now. The unfortunate thing is, yeah, Mostovoy's picked up an injury now. So I think it looks like maybe Tetrads has got one too, unless he's just getting knackered from all this defensive work.
Well, Titov is an option, of course, in the position. He has made 5 substitute appearances. Stoltz's has made 1 start in the cup. It's going to be Titov brought on for Mostovoy. And then to transfer at the back, yep. Ooh, yeah, nasty little groin injury there.
Yeah, you'll have to pull him off.
I mean, Drozdov is always a reliable backup there, isn't he? And I think it is worthy of a change. I mean, Shevchenko's down as well. I mean, would you go for all 3 substitutes?
If he's got an injury, yeah, I think I probably would at this point because
they're losing.
Because the other team, yeah, they're losing, and the other team have 10 men as well, so they'll only even things up. It's not like they're going to go any worse. So it's worth the risk. With Shevchenko's got a foot injury, you don't want to exacerbate that any further, and bringing Vasilic on the pitch will always give you a chance as well.
Just with the Nigmatulin red card would be a killer for them, but you know, you've got to take that risk really. 3 injured players, they could have gone off injured at any point. Halls wise for subs, they've already made 1, of course. And just take a look at the rest of the team. I mean, Ronaldinho is just a little bit unfit. Anyone playing particularly badly at the moment? No. So I think they'll leave it as it is, really. I don't think there's any benefit to freshening up at this point, unless they're going to try and defend that lead by switching switching forward at this point. I don't know. I can't see any purpose to it, to be honest.
No, I think everyone's playing well, aren't they? And settled into positions. And we've got Mourinho playing slightly out of position, but he's got an 8, so he's doing really
Oh
well.
yeah,
So
he is. Yeah. No injuries. No injuries is the key part to why Hulls are making no subs and Iron Curtain are making 3. So into the last half hour, a chance immediately. It was Argel with a chance, and yeah, he had a good one. Titov has got himself involved as soon as he's come on. This is a very, very close game, a very attacking game for a 1-goal match. And it really could go either way over these last 10 minutes. A chance to Vasiliuk coming forward, and he nearly got it, the equaliser. And they're still trying to go forward with it, but Hulls have brought the ball forward and have got that. Argel goes off. Now, at this point, I think it would be right to bring Junior on to the right back position, take off Argel, and move Mourinho there. So that would probably work at his best there. For the last part, it's a shame that they've lost 2 of their defence at this point. Will it make any difference as the Iron Curtain come forward? It may not. And it's a late chance, nothing coming of it, and a 1-0 Hulls. That defensive performance is very, very sound to say they've lost 2 key players.
Yeah, it is. It was excellent performance by Lucio marshalling the defence. But yeah, like you say, it's Cafu going off on 41 minutes and Nagel going off later on too. They've done well to hold out, and Rogerio was great throughout in goal, wasn't he? So I think it looks like they've just edged it. Iron Curtain probably didn't do quite enough in the latter part of that second half.
No shots on target in the second half for them out of their 4 attempts. Hulls with their, 3 out of 4? And notice that all 22 outfield players, even Cafu with his red card, have scored 7 or above.
Yeah, it just shows what a decent game it was. It was definitely a better 1-0 game than the last one we'd seen. And I think Hulls do probably edge it just on the fact they're being more clinical with the ones, and they're putting a resilient defensive performance with only 10 men. But you'll have to have words with Cafu about his discipline.
Certainly will. I mean, look at that. Romoshenko, 4 key tackles. Milevsky, 2 key tackles, but 15 successful tackles between those 2. It's they're very, very solid out there, those 2.
Yeah, they've. It just shows why they're not getting beat by too much. They just need to find something a little more up front, and create a few more goal scoring opportunities. They've had plenty of shots, but like you said, nothing on target in the second half. So they maybe just need to be getting a bit close to the goal and stick it in the back of the net.
And Argel down at 26%. He's done his groining. This is where Dilys Price will be getting her hands warmed up, ready for some treatment. Elbert continued with another shot on target, scored the goal, and yeah, Lucio's defensive performance was a masterclass.
Yeah, excellent performance from Lucio, wasn't it? In headers and tackles. Just shows, I suppose, he was the only man left standing, wasn't he? Pretty much by the end of it. Dede's done all right next to him as well. 5 out of 5 tackles won. And Emerson in midfield has thrown himself about plenty into tackles too. So
Thrown himself about.
yeah, good performance, and everyone should be fairly pleased with the performance they've done. It's only Junior who's let him down with a 6, but he's only been on the pitch for 5 minutes.
Yeah, can't complain about that. Okay, and before we go into the next match, we'll just have a short break. And we are back, and we're arriving now at Atletico Alumwell, who I've been calling Atletico too much this season, so apologies to CM Robbie. And I must say how amazing it is to have Chris Marsh back in the squad today. What a fantastic player he is. You can see this season he's been used very, very well in the league. Looking at their last match, it was a 1-1 draw against Ewan Rovers. Ewan, a team that are up and down. What did you make of the Alumwell performance, though?
Well, it just shows, doesn't it, how Jimmy Walker was man of the match with the night. It just shows how much he had to do defensively. Cole, Rustico, Ehiog, all on 8s. But they were pretty good going forward with Ricketts and Bonk as well. So wasn't Alumwell's best performance by any stretch. So it'll be a little bit disappointing to only get a point against a team in that position in the league, but they might come back tonight.
And you see changes there. We've got Kamuna recalled in defence, and Freddie Ljungberg has been brought in for Masudi Ekakanga.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a bit different, is it? Ljungberg has always got plenty of assists for me previously, so he'll be looking to do the same. Kamuna's a real solid defender. I think that's probably just strengthened the defence ever so slightly as well, because he doesn't let an awful lot past him. He says just before they concede 3 or 4 now.
Yeah, and it's an option free kick wise, isn't it, as well, having Kamuna in the team. So, it offers something else a little bit there. But as you say, it's not the best result last time out, but they are still top 6. And the team that overtook them to move into the top 5 is their opponent for today. It's Mr. Mourinho's Booth Town Badgers. Last time out, what a result that was against Iron Curtain, of course. We have mentioned that one so far. But the form, I mean, they have hit a run of 3 games before that without a win, but what a start to the season they'd had.
Yeah, they had. They've been really dominating in some of the games, and they had that 3-0 reverse at East Coast. I think that was probably the only time they've been properly outclassed in a game, but the rest of the performances have been very good. It's going to be interesting to see him with the 3 up top, with Luke Beckett coming in there and David Cameron. But yeah, they've got a little bit more attacking, so this should be interesting.
Yeah, I mean, do you see the team being more attacking than scoring 4 goals, which you got last game?
Well, as you know, my predictions are not very good at all. I haven't got a single one right this season. But I think they'll score. I fancy them to score with this sort of lineup. The only thing is, can Atletico get some goals at the other end when they've got a little bit less defensively than normal? I think it's interesting. It's good to see a slightly different formation in there, and Badger's certainly going for it.
That's it. Yes, Tato does like to keep things interesting, doesn't he? And you'd imagine that the team are going to be looking to get the ball up to those strikers as much as possible. It's going to be a good game. 5th versus 6th, or rather 6th versus 5th. And Roy Helga Olsen refereeing this game. I think that's possibly the first time I've seen Roy refereeing.
Oh, Helga.
Either or, yeah. Right. Is it one name for one for the week and one for the weekend? I'm not sure. But yeah, it's raining as well. So whoever's got the ball up in the air, or will they have an advantage or a disadvantage, do you think?
I have no idea.
We shall see. Let's get straight into the game rather than me asking ridiculous questions. Um, nothing, nothing is the answer. Nothing's happening at all. And a yellow card there for Frederick Risp, who I'm pretty sure Tato said he would never be playing again after his 5 last time out. So is he going to get himself into a bit of trouble? We've got there a yellow card for David Collins as well. Who, of course, recently had himself sent off for punching a player. So the discipline trouble continues. It's 0-0 and 25 minutes in. And a chance, and there is Michael Ricketts for 1-0 for Atletico Ulunwell. But a chance for Ryan Williams down the other end was close. Beckett, Walker, they're all getting involved. There's plenty of attack for both teams. It's certainly a very, very wide open game.
Yeah, it's been a good start.
It has. And coming towards half time, is anyone going to get the second goal of the match? A chance of a good save from Priest. And it is almost half time. Can the Badgers get back into it? Very, very close with a chance there. Half time 1-0. And Ulunwell relying very much on Jimmy Walker.
Yeah, and again, Rustico's playing well in defence alongside him, but they're just shading it according to the player ratings, aren't they? And Badgers with those 2 yellow cards, Collins and Risp will have to keep the discipline. I think Risp took down his namesake Ljungberg on the opposition team, but yeah, Ulunwell are just shading it with just that one extra shot on target, so it just shows it's if Badgers start getting more than 50% of the shots on target, game could be turned around.
It could indeed. We've had a decent first half, plenty of chances, and Atalum just edging the old possession stats. Let's take a look at the goal. Yeah, a yellow card for Risp with not really anything mentioned as to why it was, but straight away into the match. Then we have the goal there, Cassano's free kick through the wall. I mean, the wall broke. That's, you don't want your walls if you're set to fall apart. And Ricketts has taken the rebound off Priest and put in the rebound. So, yeah, it's a scrappy goal that they probably could have avoided. For Atalum, we've got, as we expected, performances from Walker and Rustico standing out. Anyone else catches your eye?
Yeah, Kamuna's lack of contributions, I think, were just the 5 passes, but he's won a key tackle, won half his headers. He's only attempted 2, but it just shows, doesn't it? Again, it's all the teams on the 7 other than Zauri, so pretty much everyone's doing a solid job. There's not too many standouts as such, but Said's won 3 of his headers, so again, he's probably contributing more than most.
More than most, as usual, yeah, as you do say. Looking into how the Badgers have performed, yeah, I think their midfield is more involved in defending than their goalkeeper, their defence.
Yeah, it looks that way, doesn't it? You'd hope that Huckabee going the other way and creating chances or having shots at goal, and instead he's having to make 4 tackles and winning 3 of them. So if they can start to turn things around and get the ball at the other end of the pitch, then we could have a different result. But it's been a real good first half, good performances from both teams. Just Yavin and Risp need to improve outfield for the Badgers, and they could come back into it.
Risp certainly does need to improve, isn't it? He's put in 1 tackle and it was unsuccessful. Substitute wise for the teams, just looking into the Atalum substitutes, he is 60-minute ones there. Badgers, they are going for 60s, I think, as well. There's nobody playing badly for either team. So, yeah, we'll go to 60 minutes. And it'd be nice for us to get to 60 minutes with some more things going on. There's been a chance for the Badgers. But Atalum coming forward again with a chance to make it 2-0. Not quite happening. Yavin and Duff getting involved on the attack. And substitutions, here we go. So for Atalum, so unless excellent, I mean, Michael Ricketts is playing very well, isn't he? He's not injured at all, is he? Is he? No, he's not injured. Is he having what you'd class as a bit of a worldie, an excellent game?
I'd say he's one leading from the front, isn't he? It's probably the best forward player on the pitch for that team. So I'd be loath to take him off if it was my decision.
Yeah.
But all depends on managerial instructions.
Yeah, well, he is playing well. He scored the goal, so we'll leave him on. Youngberg, though, will come off for Ekakanga as the other substitution here. And so they'll make just the 1 change at that point. And for the Badgers, let's take a look at performances. Well, Frederick Risp
Looks like Rip's coming, doesn't it?
is having an awful game. But there's no opportunity, no words about substituting a centre back. And he did play a 5 last game and stay on, didn't he, as well, with Tato at the helm. So let's take a look at how they're playing. Well, Yavin's having a bad game, so it's time to bring.
Huckabee's possibly had a knock as well, hasn't he?
Yeah, he could. Let's have a look. He's playing at 7 though, but he has not taken a knock. He'll stay on. Yavin's playing badly. He'll be removed for McPhee. It's only a 1-goal thing. Wingers are playing okay, and that's all right. So just the 1 change there of McPhee coming on. Okay, you can't really go more attacking than that anyway, can you?
No, not really.
So with just 25 minutes to go, still 1-0. Made a big difference from the 4-3 of last time for them. And Ekakanga has come off the bench and scored. It is 2-0 to Atalum. Badgers a bit stunned from it's like being hit over the head with a spade. But with 10 minutes left, there's still chances, and Frederick Risp has had that absolute nightmare. Yeah, the team, well, if they were 2-0 down at 60 minutes, they'd have pulled off a striker and brought Scally onto defensive mid. And I think that the opportunity would have to be here to bring Scally on and put him at centre back.
Yeah, I think he's going to be better at centre back than Steve Finnan, isn't he? So I'd probably Yeah, I was going to say I'd probably preserve David Collins with 2-0. It's unlikely he'll come back from 2 goals down with 11 minutes to go.
Don't get him too
10 men,
punchy.
isn't it?
But at that same point there, to just move Beckett back into that position to keep it as an attacking mid in the team. I know that Tato's not too fond of attacking midfielders at times, but they do. If they've pulled a striker out, so they've pulled pulled the striker out to attacking mid instead. 10 minutes left, chasing the game a bit, but one man down. It's now a case of preserving goal difference, I imagine. Into the last couple of minutes, another chance for Lundwell, and yet another attack for them. They've played very, very well this game, got to be said. And 2-0. A good first half and a bit of a messy second one.
Yeah, and what a worldie from Michael Ricketts with his 9. Ekikanga, good substitution coming on and getting a goal, but yeah, I mean, if you look at the player ratings there, I'd like to go with quite a few of the defenders on 8s and 9s, and Michael Ricketts and Bonk at the other end on 8s and 9s. So it looks like they have deserved the performance, and at the other end of the scale, Frederick Risp deserves not to be near the Badgers first team. So after that last performance he's played.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, absolutely deserve victory. The ratings show as they are, but Tato's taking a good risk this game. Well, I say a good risk. He took a risk. It didn't pay off, and the risk didn't pay off either for him. So it's back to the drawing board, but well worth an experiment. But good, solid victory for Alumar. Let's take a look at that second goal, and of course the red card. So Ekikanga, Casano's free kick, is set pieces. They've been undone on, aren't they, on set pieces? Ekikanga just found himself in some space and smashing a 5th goal of the season, which is great for a player who's not a regular starter. And Risp hard on Ricketts. I mean that looks almost like it could have been a red in itself.
So sometimes you've just got to admit the better man's got past you, haven't they? And Ricketts, the performance he was having today is slipped by a Risp, and I mean, was it a straight red? Yeah,
It was his
difficult
second
to say.
yellow. Look at the dribbling there for the team this game. They got 4 players who are dribbling plenty there for Lamar. I thought there must be something about those players because they're not the most shots, they're not the most passes. They're taking the ball really well. Saeed winning plenty of headers as well.
Yeah, some really good individual performances, and everyone's done the bit, haven't they? I suppose the only people to let them down with a 6 was Kamuna in defence, who seems by the stats to be doing all right in terms of tackles and headers, and Youngberg, who
Yeah.
didn't contribute too much in an attacking way, but his replacements come on and sewn up the game.
And Lunwell have put themselves back into that top 5 again. Scott Huckabee winning plenty of tackles. Ryan Williams. So, the 2 wide men have been very, very heavily involved.
Yeah, they've been active, haven't they? But unfortunately, it's facing their own goal rather than going forward, as we mentioned at half time. It's a disappointing result for the Badgers. I'm sure they'll hope to at least score with the lineup they had. But it's just one of them games, isn't it? You're beaten by a team who perform better on the night, and to make matters worse, it lost discipline a little bit, Risp, and got the red card. But I'm sure Badgers will be back, and they'll be trying to work their way up the table again shortly.
It's going to be very, very tight for the battle for 5th, I think. We might see another team joining them at some point. But, I don't see Phoenix joining the battle for the top 5. I think they'll be in the top 4. This game, massive, isn't it? Top 2. We could leave it till last. I think we should. Let's move on to the Flamingos. East Coast versus Flamingos. This will put pressure on the top 2 heading into their game. Now, the tactical message from Alan Finette today was to go for something like this, picking the players with the fewest appearances and this formation.
Well, I mean, what can you say about that? It probably suits the lineup of players we've got in the Flamingos squad. I would say better than any others, because they're heavily loaded with attacking talent, aren't they? But I mean, it's a bold move to go for 5 up front away to East Coast. But But East Coast didn't have the greatest of results last time, so perhaps attack them whilst they're not in the best of form. I mean, this can go two ways, can't it? It can go horribly wrong or mildly wrong. It's we might see them pick up a goal if they get the ball forward enough. The double Christensens in midfield will be interesting to see how they perform alongside each other. But yeah, it's I mean I like it. It's a bold move, and hopefully they'll get rewarded for their adventure.
And who in the midfield do you think is the better player, Matthew Christensen or Matthew Christensen?
I like Matthew Christensen. He's really good. He's been performing really well this season.
Matthew,
Great to see Des start though as well on that right wing. He's one to watch.
yes, despite the fact that we are probably the only two people in the league who think that at all. Contracts have been offered to those rebel. In fact, no, they're not contracts. They are players who are now becoming unhappy, considering options, disappointed by the league position and such like. Yeah, if we have a little look at the news and recent things, we have had a supporters protest. We've had board fury. Yeah, and we've had Tyson Fury on the show the other day, of course, as something extra. To go into the game with Baba as captain, he's one of the Babas of the team. And East Coast have gone strong in their lineup. Last game, of course, a 1-1 draw with Imaginary Madrid, which we have said, it's a bit of a setback, but Madrid are on their way forward a little bit, other than today's result. They've gone for a typically strong side.
And they've gone for Big Dunk, which I mean, he nearly proved the difference, didn't he, last game, coming off the bench and getting an 8. So yeah, he's performed really well in these 2 matches so far, and this is probably the exact sort of opposition that he would want to bully. I'm not saying that Duncan Ferguson would bully little boys, but that's exactly what he could do on a day like today. It is a strong lineup as you expect from East Coast because the squad is a very strong squad. It'll be interesting to see how this sort of formation matches up against the 5 up front, because of course if the ball is forward in for the Flamingos, they've got 5 on 3 at the back there. So yeah, I mean it could be an absolute massacre. I'm looking forward to. I think there's some good players on the pitch, more on one side than another, but some. I mean they're both going to go for it, aren't they?
I think if you want someone from a Merseyside team up against a team of really young players, surely Michael Owen would be the ideal candidate to take on a lot of kids.
Yeah, he likes the goalkeepers young, doesn't he? Like 14 and.
Yeah, I mean, Neville Southall would be there cheering him on, I'm sure. East Coast Flamingos, 81, 82-0, something like that.
I might make a prediction for this one. I'm going to go for East Coast to win, and then I might get one prediction right.
And if you don't, well, Flamingos in their blue kit for today, and Frank Vick refereeing in this part of Norway, which is dry. So kick off is seen straight away. Chance and a 1 goal already for Estebaria. It was at 1 or 2 minutes into the match. So well done, Dimble. You've claimed the 3 points. We shall see what will happen in the rest of the game. And they come forward, but they've been caught offside. The Flamingos. Bonk has had a chance for 2. And the game has gone a little bit quiet. Surely there's a red card, and it's Clayton, and they're going to have to withdraw one of the strikers in favour of a defender, because there's no point having one in midfield. So yeah, taking a little look at what's been going on. Shane Tolley has had a nightmare. He will come off, and Lee Croft will come on in defence. Yeah, Croft, who's the right side he plays. Is Kagura just a centre, or is he a
Kagura's
right
right
centre?
as well, I think,
So
isn't he?
Kagura can go into the middle. And it will be a case of having just a 4 up front. So a 3-2-4 now up against them as Clayton
It's a
Blackmore.
defensive switch, isn't it?
Yeah, going more defensive. This, I mean, they've held out for 25 minutes at just 1 goal, but anything can happen now. Ferguson is really going for it. He wants a goal. He's desperate for a goal. You can tell. But still 1-0. Half an hour in, pushing to 40 minutes. Lee Bowyer, 2-0. not getting too excited about the scoreline just yet. But I mean, if we get a few goals, it's going to be huge for the title race in terms of goal difference. As Trafford only got 3 last time out, didn't they, against Flamingos?
Yeah, they did. I mean, the red card's certainly going to help, isn't it, for the second half? But you can see East Coast are having it all the run where they've only got sevens at a lot of them. There's only 4 players who are going well. One was in defensive midfield. So they're going to have to start showing a bit more and getting a few more shots in on goal, because it's quite a surprise to see Flamingos with 2 shots on goal already. If they start hitting the target, they could have had a goal and pulled one back. But you can only see it going one way, and I fancy East Coast to hit 5 as Flamingos get a little bit more tired as the game progresses.
Yeah, so you're still predicting an East Coast win at this situation?
I might go for Flamingo. No, I'm going to stick with East Coast, I think, because it'd be nice to get one right for a change.
So Duncan Ferguson chipping it to Bonk, and Bonk playing it in for a header from Estabrio. I mean, it sounds like a nice goal, but it sounds like a very, very easy one. And a shove from Clayton. Not even anything that could be, seen as an accident. That's just a bit silly, isn't it? Second goal from Lee Bowyer. Bonk into Bowyer. So is that 2 assists for Arkadiusz Bonk?
Looks like it, yeah.
There we are. Yes, indeed. He's got his 8th from his 2 assists. Zayalias doing a great job there in midfield. Okoronkwo will be withdrawn now. That looks like an injury, doesn't it?
Yeah, he's definitely got something wrong with him, hasn't he? It looks like Big Dunk's picked up a knock as well.
He's got very little stamina. Yeah, he's got
Yeah.
5 for stamina. So we will make that substitute now. It's effectively an injury. I know it doesn't mention about taking place, but that's not even a potential. That is an
Martin
injury.
Keown coming on?
Martin Keown will come on to at least bring the average age of the pitch to over 20 years old, I imagine, at this point.
Yeah, he'll be twice as old as some of the players on the opposition, won't he?
Yeah, imagine Fortesh up against these. What it would be like. For the Flamingos, I mean, Johansson doing very, very well this game. He's staking his claim for a starting position.
Yeah, he is, and I mean they're not too bad outfield. I mean Minarelli and Des are on 6s. They're the wide forwards, so they're obviously causing something for the opposition to worry about. Faber with a 6, Christensen with a 6 in midfield as well, and Crofts had a 6 in come on. So it just shows that they're not doing too badly to be only 2-0 down to a team like East Coast after having 10 men for over half the half. It's not a bad performance at all, and well done to Johansson in goal.
Yes, yeah, one of the best players on the pitch. Second half starts with a lull, of course, and the chance there. And Castro man scores to make it 3-0. This is looking very, very comfortable now. A penalty turned down and substitutes. Well, it was only to make 2 substitutes at 60 minutes, so we will keep doing this. And it is based on fitness, the substitute, and not to use Luis Enrique unless absolutely necessary. So Duncan Ferguson comes on and it is to bring on, if possible, Don Hutchison. So we'll now see Don Hutchison making his first league appearance of the season after a good cup game he's had. Flamingos, in terms of substitutes for them, any performance-wise, first of all, well, there are a few. It will be worth withdrawing Mr. Matthew in the middle of midfield, I think. I don't think there's any specific massive injuries going on. So, yeah, it will be to withdraw him. And looking at that, I mean, that's a Stefania substitute there.
Unless you wanted Thomas to keep the Christensen's in midfield.
Oh, why not? Yes, it's Christmas. Let's make the change there. And as to whether a striker, Telecki's having a bit of a nightmare. So I think it's probably time for Cherno Samba.
I think it's Cherno Samba time, isn't it? And if he gets this late hat trick, he might get a point.
By the time that he gets his late hat trick, it might well be 6-3. So, oh, Flamingo scored. It's Samba. He has come on and scored. But Martin Keown has scored as well. So it's 4-1. Martin Keown is showing who's boss. 4-1, looking very, very comfortable at this point. It's not going to be the 5-0, but can they make it a 5-goal win with a couple of late ones? Martin Keown scoring his second goal of the game. He's chasing the hat-trick now. He can't, can he? He surely can't. It's a late chance. It's 5-1, and it's a 5-1 win. And Martin Keown only a 7 with his 2 goals. Bonk man of the match. Lee Bowyer with a 10, and Flamingos. I mean, it's probably their worst performance of the season, but not their worst result.
Yeah, I think when you've got 4-4s they had on the pitch, it's not ideal, is it? But the going down to 10 men after 22 minutes didn't help. So there was some positivity. Johansson had played well in goal up to a point, and the substitutes came on and played fairly well with a couple of 7s. But East Coast were dominant, deserved the victory, and I suppose the only surprise is they didn't keep a clean sheet against the 10 men. But kudos to Flamingos for getting a goal, and well played to East Coast for making the most of it.
Yes, yeah, absolutely. East Coast, look at the goal there, Bonk, with an assist for Castroman. So, Castroman. Then, of course, the chance there with Talon Martin knocking it down, a loose ball, and Samba getting on the end of a superb team move, despite the fact it's a loose ball he's putting in the end. A Lee Bowyer corner, and Keown has beaten Thomas Christensen to the ball. And then later on, a Bowyer cross, and Keown wins a header again. So, yeah, superb play from Martin Keown there. Yeah, for the stats for East Coast, 3 shots. He had 3 shots in the last in the second half. I think they maybe should try him up front maybe at some point.
Yeah, I was concerned for a minute. I thought you brought him on instead of Hutchison up front, and Hutchison had gone into defence. But yeah, it just shows how little he had to do defensive. We've only getting the 7. But yeah, he got a couple of headers against the young children trying to jump against him. Once they're fully grown, they might have challenged him better. But some good performance in that team. Bonk, as you mentioned, with 3 assists, Boy with 2 assists, and that's why they've picked up full marks in terms of the ratings. So a lot to be pleased with. Definitely a better result than they had last time out. And I say it's not always that teams make the most of playing against 10 men. So to get 5 goals is a decent performance.
Yes, and 5 goals. I mean, you take Matthew Christensen out of it, and pretty much 5 tackles was almost all that the opposition managed. But yeah, good to see Samba getting on the score sheet with his only shot on target. In fact, his team's only shot on target.
Yeah, so I suppose that's the one slight concern for East Coast, isn't it? But it might have Samba pushing for a slot in the first team now, coming off the bench and getting a goal. Jocelyn's not even in the squad today. He's had a goal before, hasn't he? So it's just the defensive options, I guess, isn't it? Particularly with Clayton now being suspended, we're already short in defensive options, so they're going to have to just deal with what they got for the next game. And hopefully they'll start to play a little bit better than Baba did today with his 4, and hopefully Clayton's not out for too long. It's just a professional foul, so it shouldn't be such a long suspension, I don't think.
No, if David Collins got a 1-match ban for punching somebody, we should be seeing a 1-match ban there. But yeah, they're down to 3 defenders for the next game, barring any injuries. And this game, then we still leaving that one out. So in favour of the Faliraki Ewan Rovers game. Faliraki, last time out, a 0-0 draw with Phoenix is a good result, isn't it? Not the best performance, but a good result.
Yeah, it's a real good result for Faliraki. Great performance from Sebastian Frey in goal. He's an excellent keeper, isn't he? So he's kept his team in the game there. But I suppose if some of the players had started to play a little bit further forward, they'll be disappointed not to have come away with all 3 points, because Phoenix had played well, but saying 0-0 with half your team on, or more than half your team on 6, it's a real impressive performance.
Definitely so. Looking into the last match. Generally, in terms of fixtures, mid-table, 3 clean sheets in a row, including the cup, and only 1 conceded in their last 3 league games. Is definitely the basis of a very solid defence. All the team born in the 1980s as the theme that wasn't mentioned until recently because I actually didn't work it out for some reason. And a big shout out to Champino for creating some statistics for the league, some of which you'll be seeing this weekend in the Division 1 matches. And you did see an element of them being used in Division 2's fixtures last weekend.
Yeah, I look forward to seeing those. You mentioned there about the goals have conceded in the last few games and not too many, but it must be said that one of those was against Flamingos. They played Fortuna, who haven't scored too many as well in another game. So although they have been solid defensive, they've not been tested too much. Other than in that last game they had when Frey had a world class game in goal. I think they've got the stronger squad compared to Ewan Rovers, and I like the way they line up with the two defensive midfields in, and plenty of people running all over the place, aren't there? So again, if I were going to make a prediction, and I will do, I'm going to say Falaraki will edge this one, but Ewan are no pushovers.
No, they're not pushovers, and we have seen that recently. Saviola back in the team today, starting in place of Sigalko. Ewan Rovers, opponents for today, last time out, that great draw with Atalum. They were behind, and Blinkhorn managed to get the equaliser. Season generally, recently, they've taken a few big defeats, but they had played two massive sides in Trafford and Phoenix, hadn't they? But a 6-0 defeat to Phoenix when Falaraki had a 0-0 draw suggests that they are up against it today, especially away to Falaraki, and a change of system, a late change to the system as well after hoping for a different formation that was just unfortunately invalid. So they've made a late change, moving Carl Lorry to wing back and John O'Kane to centre back.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see. These have had a tough run of form against four of the big squads in the league. Obviously missing Vieira, suspended today, isn't he? After picking up a yellow card in the last game. So it's going to be interesting how they cope with Salt in midfield. I don't think he's quite got the range of Vieira, but he might surprise and play well. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how this with the wing backs line up against the opposition, because the opposition are fairly narrow in the setup. So
yes,
the ball gets to the wing backs in an attacking sense, they could cause some problems. Looking forward to seeing Jed Kimmins on the
I was
bench
just
as
about
well.
to mention that it's taken 10 games for him to make it to the subs bench, but I think he hasn't been that determined to make it this season. He's got
He's not
his.
going to be cross about it either, though, is he?
No, definitely not. And I think we'll just get on with the game. So Kimmins, Jed Kimmins, who will take the number 44 shirt for the team, just as a random choice there. Okay, here we are with the referee today of Henning Olsen.
That's an awful away kick, by the way.
It was commented on last time out. It's not pink, is it? Was what George had said about it. And looking into this game, it's not a pink performance for them. They are not performing the best to begin with, although they're performing better than Ashley Cole. And a chance has come in for Falaraki. Again, they are dominating the early stages of the match without necessarily playing fantastically. A chance there for Ronaldinho with a good save from Schalkvist in goal. Half an hour in, I mean, is someone going to score? Yes, they are. It's John Terry. Well, it's a shame, but then Saviola with a goal that can be celebrated this time, 2-0. They are very, very dominant now, and Ewan are not really enjoying this change of system, I think.
No, that's it. It's, I think they just needed permission from you to start scoring, didn't they? As soon as you asked, the obliging 2 quick goals, and performances started to improve from the team. But yeah, unfortunately, you see Salt and Shellstrom in midfield there. Shellstrom in the attacking midfield position. They're just not seeing any of the ball because Falaraki have been dominant so far in this first half performance once they got going.
They really have. Looking into those stats, yep, very, very much so in terms of shots. They're passing it well. They're winning the tackles, they're winning the headers. There's nothing not to like about that Falaraki performance other than the first goal scorer.
Yeah, that's it. I think that's fair call, isn't it? It's I mean, they've played well. It's nice to see they've got a couple of goals because they've probably not had the best performances in recent weeks. So it's nice to see them get in front. But Ewan, I think, say they've not performed well going forward. If they start getting the ball forward and test them a bit more, who knows? But they just need to get hold of the ball a bit more.
Absolutely, yeah. We've got opportunities in here for get the goal for John Terry, and the second goal there, Saviola, a long range strike. And for Falaraki, just talk us through what you've seen there.
Yeah, I think it just shows, doesn't it? They've not had to do too many defensive actions. I think all round. Hargreaves is the one who's probably contributed the most in defensive midfield, and he's not having to break too much of a sweat on a 7. Collins with the assist for Saviola's goal, both getting an 8 up front. Ronaldinho and behind him he's had an assist for Terry, so they've both got an 8 as well. So it just shows that those have been contributing to the goals are the ones being rewarded for the performances, but they've not had to do too much to stop Ewan, as we've seen with the only the one shot on target.
Precisely. Yeah, Salt, as you said, not the best performance. Rimmer putting tackles in, and not really anything that we can say about them other than they need to do better. In terms of managing their substitutes, there's going to be nothing happening there for them. And the substitutes for Falaraki at 60 minutes. So we will go into the last stage of the game. Ronaldinho with a chance straight away. And then Blinkhorn has followed it up and he's had one disallowed. It was the first chance they've got to really attack. And there, Blinkhorn again coming forward, and he does score this time. They are really coming out for this second half.
Yeah, they're performing a lot better, aren't they? I mean, the only thing Salt and Rimmer were good for is being on one of the glasses in George's bar in that first half, but they've started to perform a little bit better in this second half.
You're not wrong. You are not wrong, Falaraki. So, at 60 minutes to take off the two lowest percentages in their midfield, unless a defender is obviously injured, as one of them, and a defender there is obviously injured, Soroczynski. So, with his
It'll have to
naughty
be
groin.
Banera coming on there, is it?
Yep, Banera's been playing there lots of times this season. And the other substitute then would be Steven Gerrard. And Gerrard would be coming off for.
Damon Delaney.
It's going to have to be Damon Delaney, isn't it? There isn't another player who can play in that defensive midfield position.
Yeah,
So a
that's
little
it.
switch over with Owen
quality player, isn't
Hargreaves.
he?
And for Ewan, in terms of managing their substitutes, I mean, just to have a look at it. I mean, would you take off Hill in the hope that he's not even injured, is he? He's not injured. Rimmer.
Salt's the tightest, isn't he? It's
Oh, Salt. Yeah, I didn't notice that there at that percentage. I mean, for me, I mean, Jed Kimmins would be an awesome choice to bring onto the pitch. Substitute wise, usually, I mean, Milligan is a wide player. They don't need anybody wide. It's going to have to be David Flitcroft, isn't it?
yeah. Unfortunately, yeah, they're just not many options. Like you say, Kimmins would have been interesting to see there, but Saviola's performing the best, and Blinkhorn's got the goal, so they'll have to stop in there. I mean, the alternative is putting Shellstrom in midfield and moving attacking midfield in, but Flitcroft's in the squad, isn't he? He's in his position on right centre midfield, so if he can contribute to getting the game level, then he might push himself for the first team.
And let's see if he does do anything. At the moment, there's no is the answer. The Falaraki boys are just keeping on going and just holding out this game. They need another one, and there it is. It's a free kick from Ronaldinho to make it 3-1. It looks like it's going to be a victory in the end for Falaraki. A little less pressure on them. Ewan coming back a little bit too little, too late, I think. And another chance for Ronaldinho coming forward, and then Critchley taking the ball forward for Ewan. But I think we're going to be going into this at the end of the game at 3-1. I'm holding my breath, and it is 3-1.
Thought you were
So,
going to pass out then, holding your breath.
yeah, Ronaldinho 9, Davy Collins 9, Saviola 9.
Yeah, that's it. And they were the ones that contributed to the goals, weren't they? It's, I mean, I think the substitutions came at the wrong time for Ewan because they were on top. And then Delaney and Bonera coming onto the pitch for Gerrard and Soroczynski just seemed to steady the ship a little bit more. But Ewan did perform better in the second half, but Falaraki were the better team, and I think 3-1's probably the right result.
I would say so. Let's just take a look at the goals in the second half. We have the goal from Blinkhorn, just managing to get himself on the end of the opportunity from that he'd had before, putting it in off the rebound
Yeah,
of
and that was
Frey.
immediately after disallowed one, wasn't it? So
Yeah,
they had a very good start to the second half.
and then Ronaldinho free kick over the wall and in Yapstam, giving that free kick away. Falaraki, as we said, I mean they haven't put in a lot of tackles, so they've shown that they've just done what they needed to do.
Yeah, that's it. I mean, Delaney would perform pretty impressively coming off the bench there, and 2 out of 3 tackles and headers. But yeah, going forward, they look dangerous, didn't they? And good free kick from Ronaldinho, goal and assist, goal for a defender, and a goal from Saviola, an assist from Collins. So good contribution from players in forward positions.
Spreading it around, and John O'Kane actually performing all rightish as a centre back.
Yeah, that's it. It was, yeah, good tackling, wasn't it? Three key ones, 4 out 4 1. Rimmer alongside him again, 6 out of 10 tackles. It isn't bad at all. It's just, well,
Let
it's the
down by
players in the
Yapstam.
forward players in the forward area is not doing quite so much, was it? But yeah, Yapstam on a 5 is pretty poor, isn't it? So if one player is going to perform badly out of Yapstam and John O'Kane, you'd back it to be O'Kane, but yeah, once he starts to play at his best, then they're going to be with more of a chance. But good signs going forward, I think, particularly the start of that second half, and not a bad performance from Flitcroft off the bench.
No, and well done to Falaraki. As now we go into the last game, Bolton Phoenix, as we saw last time out, 0-0 with Falaraki. We've seen that Falaraki can play football. They can defend mostly. Their season, second in the league. They're going to be up there anyway at the end, aren't they? And this is their team for today.
Yeah, I think so. It's I think they will be right in there. It's an interesting lineup, isn't it? We've got sort of Sierra at the back with a couple of Bayern Munichs in there, and then the midfields probably looking at more La Liga other than Rui Costa. So yeah, real interesting mix of players in the team, but they're all absolute classic '90s legends in there, aren't the lot of them? So it's no surprise to see them doing well because of the quality they've got.
And we can see there Simeone and Torricelli have been brought in for the absentees this game of Cafu and Manu Petit. They're up against though the league leaders at the moment after they managed to beat the Flamingos last game with a red card early on for Roberto Carlos. So obviously Roberto Carlos is missing this game. The Trafford side sees obviously strength restored to the ranks.
Yeah, it's they've been performing well, haven't they? It'll be interesting to see how this Cafu gets on because we've had a red card for one, and the other one's sitting this one out, isn't it, for the opposition? I suppose the thing for me is Emerson. I think performs better in a centre midfield role. I'd probably switch him in Barry Ferguson, but Trafford are top of the league, aren't they, compared to my team? So this is exactly why they're top, because they make these great decisions. And I think in Condola and Cafu, they've got a great pair of fullbacks who can create chances at the other end.
Well, this was left to last for a reason. Let's hope it doesn't let us down. Bjorn Gunnar Sala refereeing from Gold Trafford. 0-0 full time. All right, yeah, we've got a chance immediately to Madeira on the attack, and nothing coming of that one. And straight down the other end, chance and a good save from Oliver Kahn, who's captaining both teams today.
Yeah,
15
that's it. I
minutes.
want a good 0-0, won't I?
15 minutes in, and we're still awaiting the opening goal. There's been plenty of chances, and the teams cancelling each other out with their solid defences, who are taking a bit of time to come to life. We've had yellow cards all over the pitch so far, and we are still just halfway through the first half, and Marcel Desailly scores the opening goal. That is a great opening for Phoenix, and now Trafford have to come forward. But Phoenix know how to close out a game. They've got a very, very solid defensive record.
Yeah, there won't be too many people who had Desai down as first scorer, but he's 2 ratings better than everyone else at the moment.
And a red card, and it is Simeone who was brought in for this match, has been sent off in the first half. I mean, at this point, just to take a look at whether any of the strikers are injured, no. I think it's probably best to leave the team as it is and monitor Rivaldo for a bit later on. Leave it.
Yeah, I mean,
That.
even just get through to half time at the moment. If just check again, see if anyone gets a knock in there. But yeah, it's I mean, not a good way to push for the regular first team place for Simeone.
No, it's not even got a Beckham to get involved with today on the opposition side, but they're
He's
still
on the
coming
bench.
forward. There he is. Yes, of course. Yeah, he is there. But he's. Well, I knew that he played for Trafford because he played very well last game, but he wasn't involved in the first team there, Mr. Quinton. 1-0 at half time, and Phoenix edging it in all areas except tackles and passes over.
It's a surprise to see Trafford with only the one shot on target, because they've been really good going forward in a lot of the games so far this season. But just shows how well Phoenix have played to get themselves in front. They've been dominant as the action area show there, with 30% of the ball in the Trafford defensive third. But yeah, it's that red card could be a game changer. So people are going to have to watch the discipline.
It could. His first one's a shove on Tomadera.
I think he took
Then,
Tomadera down for the second as well.
oh, it's a bit of taking down a non-existent player. So Lizarazu free kick to Desai, very, very French, ooh la la. And then, yeah, it is a Tomadera. Yes, it is indeed brought down with a slide tackle, and I don't think they could be any more convincing than saying he's been sent off at that point. Trafford doing a solid, unspectacular job.
Yeah, that's it. Emerson's been the best player for those in that defensive midfield position, but saying that he normally creates a little bit more going forward, but he's had a lot of defensive contribution with the 6 tackles out of 7 once. He's performing really well. Nesta's not doing too badly in terms of his defensive contributions, but only has a 6 as well. Just need to start showing a bit more going forward. As I said, with just the one shot on target, he's not like them.
No, and there is one substitute planned for Trafford, which, in terms of performances might surprise, but not in terms of the yellow card that Patrick Vieira is to come on for Emerson at that point. For Phoenix, how are they getting on? Obviously they're winning, but they're now down to 10 men.
Yeah, that's it. It's I mean, Desai, as I say, he was the best player on the park by 2 ratings at one point. He's come down to an 8 since then, but Montero's joined him. So it just shows again it's the players in slightly more defensive positions that are dominating today. A lot of the games have been a bit tighter. But yeah, 4 tackles out of 6, 4 headers out of 4 for Desai, and he's been the difference between the two teams. So I mean, it's difficult, isn't it, with that red card. They're a one-man light in midfield, but the strikers seem to be in good health, and they've not done an awful lot wrong, have they? In fact, you're possibly looking at Rivaldo might have picked up a slight knock in terms of fitness.
Yeah, he's going to be monitored for that for a little bit longer, and then most likely withdrawn at 60 minutes as a managing the substitutes. Let's go. We have got chances already for Phoenix coming forward. They're not afraid to go for it, despite the fact that they're a man down. Tomadera with another attack going on, and he does score the equaliser. Now he's not got Simeone chasing him around. He's got a bit of freedom, and it is working for him. 1-1, another yellow card coming through for Phoenix, and the substitutes taking their time to happen as Tomadera comes forward again. So, Trafford, substitute-wise, at 60 minutes, anyone 6 or under? At this point, there's none of those. And then anyone 85% and under, well, we start off with Sigalko. at that point. Sigalko would come off for Shevchenko. And the other substitute, it's 85 or under. It doesn't say to stop at 2 subs. So
yeah, and I think again the opposition have 10 men, don't they? And Trafford have to go for the victory. So yeah, I'd pull Zidane and I'd probably
Beckham would
stick
probably be
Riquelme
the
on. But Beckham's the alternative, isn't he?
yeah Beckham with his 10 last game. He will be the one that will come on. He has played centre mid a bit this season, and he's going to be the one to come on. Just think, oh, not for Veron. It just dragged itself into position there for Zidane. Beckham. Okay. And for Phoenix, to manage their substitutes, we'll have a look at Rivaldo. Yes, yeah, Rivaldo does need to come off for his injury, his knee injury.
He went down clutching his face, didn't he, with that in the first half? So
Is it Mehmet Scholl? Just thinking about where he's this season. He's got 4 assists. Or is it? Luis Enrique's probably better. Luis
I think we had
Enrique's
to
only
avoid
played
Luis
1 cup
Enrique, didn't
game.
we?
That was with
I'd
the
bring,
East Coast.
oh, yeah, I'd bring Mehmet Scholl on. Yeah, he's been playing well, hasn't he, so far this season? So I'd bring him on for that.
And then in terms of a second substitute, we've got. I don't know. Would you bring Zidane on for Rui Costa?
Do you know? I'd probably look at the ratings and see how they're performing because I'm not sure what the what lineup is. I mean, Rui Costa has got a booking, hasn't he? So
To
yeah,
Rams in defence.
I think Rui Costa is the one who's got to go. We need
Yeah.
Phoenix need a goal if they're going to win the game. So yeah, it's either Zidane or Bergkamp or Enrique, isn't it? So Zidane's gone off one team, come on to the other.
Good substitute. And a red card for Mehmet Scholl.
I wouldn't bring Mehmet Scholl on. He's absolute liability, isn't he?
Oh dear me. That will be a case of just bringing one of the strikers back.
Batistuta off and Enrique onto midfield.
Oh yeah, they've only made 2 subs, haven't they? Yeah, that would make perfect sense. Batistuta off, and Luis Enrique on. Yeah.
And at least if there's another red card, he can fill in anywhere, can't he?
Well, apologies, Phoenix. The substitute has backfired for you. Within seconds. Can they hold on to this game? Or will Trafford be seeing themselves extending their lead over Phoenix to 5 points? This is looking amazing for the attacks here of Phoenix at the moment against Trafford. But will they just be caught on the counter-attack? We are close to the end of the game, and it is all Phoenix. Suddenly going up the other end of the pitch, Trafford have 1 chance. They're still looking for something, another card. Shevchenko, final whistle. I mean, Phoenix, what a result that is for them.
Yeah, it's a great result, isn't it? And 7 cards is quite a performance, isn't it? That's incredible. It's but even after they went down to 9 men, they were the team going forward and looking to score the winners. So Trafford, with only 4 shots on target against 9 men for that length of time, they're going to be real disappointing to have only picked up 1 point because that's 2 points dropped out, I would think, considering the circumstances.
Completely 2 points dropped there for them. But yeah, Tomadera with a left-footed volley from Nesta's ball in. Then substitutes and Scholl takes down Nesta with 2 feet. Well, yep, not the best substitute for that, is it at all? Trafford and Jai putting some great tackles. Condilar and Emerson, of course, his first half being withdrawn. They'll be, happy that they've stayed ahead of Phoenix in the table.
Yeah, well, yeah, you're always happy to stay in front of a team like Phoenix, but that's your chance to beat them, isn't it? With having reduced numbers on the pitch, they just didn't really show enough going forward. You can see there's quite a few 7s in there on that team, and the ones who had 8s were mainly in defensive positions other than Madeira. So it's not the best of performances from Trafford, but there are some positives in terms of, and Jai was on a 9 for a lot of the game, but you would worry that Phoenix are the dominant team with 2 less players on the pitch.
Yes, dominant. Look at Desai's performance.
Yeah, great performance, wasn't he, in there? And unlike Mehmet Scholl's first contribution was a two-footed lunge. Desai's won 11 out of 14 tackles, 5 out of 7 headers. So yeah, it's a great result for Phoenix considering the circumstances. But I mean that them cards that's surely going to cause the FA to intervene and put in a fine for that, because that's not like how they've been performing so far. It just shows what a grudge match it was.
And if we can say something, the Zidane substitute works. That's
Yeah,
just something.
he played okay, didn't he? And Luis Enrique didn't dive into any two-footed tackles first thing either, so they can make some substitutions.
Thank you very much. Well, the results there show wins for the home teams were generally the way of the world. We did get a draw and 2 away wins of just 1-0. But yeah, some bigger home performances there. Flamingos destroyed again, but they did score a goal. Imagine Madrid at the bottom as well, losing. Hulls, as it shows there, are our new league leaders, and 3 teams have come up from which has been, well, sorry, let's get that right. It's not 3 teams that have overtaken the leaders, is it? It's Trafford have held on to the joint most number of points, but Hulls take the lead of the table. East Coast have followed them, and Phoenix now just 2 points still off the lead, and Alumwell are closing the gap.
Yeah, I think it's the top 4 have that bit of a cushion, don't they, in terms of goal difference as well. So even if Atletico win their next game and Phoenix was to drop points to stay above them, unless it's a crushing win and crushing defeat. So that the top 4 seem to be slightly pulling away, but just shows, doesn't it, in terms of performances, that anyone can beat anyone, and the games were a bit tight. I think there's only 21 goals in tonight's game, so things are starting to tighten up a little bit in the games, and it's just about who can perform better and who can keep all the men on the pitch in some cases.
And we see their Phoenix having the best attack and the best defence in the league. It's looking well for them to say they are just 2 points off the lead. Down at the bottom of the table, no points. Flamingos, 2 points in Madrid, but that gap isn't getting any bigger there. They can still bridge that gap. Fortuna moving themselves into contention with the Iron Curtain for a place in the top 9, if that's anything.
Yeah, that victory should. I mean, we're still a positive goal difference, which is pleasing at this stage in the season. But I think we've got a tough match potentially next. But yeah, again, it's just gives that a bit of breathing room, really. If you win, the goal difference is likely to still be that we'll be ahead. So yeah, if you know, if we can pick up a few more points, we might be able to get close to the Iron Curtain. But they've got a strong squad and should pick up points soon.
I would imagine with a goal difference 15 better, you will probably still have a better goal difference at the end of the next round. The main situation there is, of course, that your team has the best goal difference outside, the best defence outside the top 4.
Yeah, it's all down to one man in goal, isn't it? It's I mean, there's been some decent team performances from us, but yeah, the ones at the top better attack and not conceding not too many, and that's why they're at the top.
We're not going to show any player stats and things during the midweek games at the moment. Keep them a little bit shorter, but there are fixtures for next time. Badgers with a chance to gain some more points against Imagine Madrid. East Coast up against Ewan. I mean, you know, the Ewan threat maybe isn't quite going to come next game. Flamingos giving 3 points to Atletico Alumwell. Fortuna versus Trafford, as you did mention, it's going to be a tricky one there. Hulls and the Wolves. Hulls are on good form. Phoenix and Iron Curtain. Iron Curtain could throw up a bit of a surprise, but Phoenix, as we say, best attack, best defense. And Racers versus Falaraki. Racers need to get something out of this next game.
Yeah, there's a mixed bag of fixtures there, isn't there? It's there's no one really vying for the same sort of positions. Really, they've all got a little bit of a gap between them. So it'll be interesting if anyone can perform above expectations or if anyone has an off day.
Well, thank you very much for your time tonight, Quinton, and I hope to see you again soon on another exciting show of the Swemp Electronics Football Alliance. Good night.